I'm Graham Holmes, 𝗄𝗲𝗯𝘀𝗶𝘁𝗄𝗏 Farm, Addingham. We dairy farmers, but we also have homes contractors as well. We do silage contracting through the summer. We're milking about 80 to 100 cows and up to about 200, 220, including followers. We supply Arla Foods, so Arla at Sturton, which is only just down the road from us. As we are today, we've got to about 12,500 litres with the cows. The system that we run is 2 Fulwood Merlin 2 robots. We've been running 11 years now. And my granddad and my dad were very progressive farmers, put a first milking parlour in, an actual herringbone parlour, 1968. Where we were at before, we were roughly milking 40 to 45 cows, giving about 8,000, 7,500, 8,000 litres. Very Frisian based, no blend down the passage, no mixer wagon, a very simple grass silage, one cake. The main reason we put this building up and moved to the robots and went forward with it all is to release the genetic potential of the cow. And that is what we've done. So we designed this building about 12, 13 years ago. We have 2 Fulwood Merlin robots, enough space for 112 cows, so there's always free cubicle space. A lot of the studies that were with robots are obviously from Holland and Denmark, and they always said you've got to create the outside inside. So it's giving them the space inside as they would in a field, space to roam about. There's 112 cubicles in here, so they've all got a bed, and I'm a big believer in they've got to be able to choose where they want to sit, not to have to look for a bed. It's the same with the locking yokes. There's 140 locking yokes in here, so there's no way, they're never going to be short of feed space. So the visits that we get to the robots, we're roughly running about 3.3. We've never dropped below 3.2. The main benefactor for me is mastitis, very, very little. That's because they're not holding the milk. They're milking when they want to milk, releasing it, especially the new calving ones. They're milking 5, 6 times a day. The one thing that robots do, that's milk each teat individually. That is the key to milking cows. I had one cow that milked for 4 minutes longer just on one teat. So I'm thinking if she was in a traditional parlour, she would have milked for 4 minutes longer on the other 3, causing mastitis, causing canal damage, etc., etc. So because we're not manually milking, which in my mind it's a waste of somewhere between 4 to 6, maybe in some people's cases 8 hours a day milking, you know, we have the technology to do that job more efficiently. So the robot's doing all that for me, relieves me the time. So in winter time we just maintain the herd and the young stock, prepare for the summer. We also run a silage contracting business for local farmers. We can go out contracting all day. We can come back at 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night, check the cows, clean the robots. My wife also takes care of the beds, checks if there's anything wrong, and everything's okay. When we first went into the robots, it's so different to what you've ever known before. But once you get your head into it, it gives us the chance to do other stuff, for us to have a life outside of farming. So my son's coming into the business now, and that's what's great about having robots and having them set up for 10 years. It gives something for the kids to come into, gives something for them to see a future. As for the data side of the system, so the data that the robots pull off the cows, they get so much data, it's using that data. A robot will only tell you what you ask it. If there's a problem, you've got to ask it. So if you ask it and it gives you the data back, then you're doing your job. So the next step I'm hoping is that I've probably got as far as I can understanding and the data I can pull out. So it'll be interesting where OptiRobot can take us in the future.
So we've been working with Graham's robotic system now for the last 11 years. And one of the challenges we've had is continue looking for areas of improvement, optimising the system and the setup. But we had reached a stage where we were only seeing small incremental gains. So what we really needed to do was try and strip it back and understand where were those other areas that we were not necessarily having sight of on a regular basis to being able to take us to the next stage. So the only real way we could do that was through the development and the introduction of OptiRobot to reduce the time potentially that it would be taking us otherwise to get to where we need to be or where the potential is. So in a nutshell, what OptiRobot allows us to do, it takes the information that's produced by the robot manufacturer's software and pulls it into a format whereby we can view it and the customer can view it graphically, but in a much more succinct format, so we don't have to keep looking through multiple reports. We see it all in one place in a graphical form. We can actually drill down to then see what is actually causing those animals not to realise their natural potential.
So here at 𝗄𝗲𝗃 Farm, going through the robot, we've currently got 2 ForFarmer nuts, and one of them includes Lintec, which supports fertility and supports energy density balance. Post-calving, Graham manages these cows by feeding them a glycol keto energy liquid. This just helps him through that tricky period, so we haven't got that energy balance deficit, ensuring that we're not having any shocks, and we've got that energy and protein feed close together to support the cow's health. Down the trough itself, currently second cut silage mixed in with half a kilo to a kilo of straw with a blend on top that's mixed through the feeder wagon. Also, we've just got about 400 kilos of water going in just to bind it up because it's just been a bit too dry. Graham makes really good silage. He is a contractor, he's got attention to detail. The cut length is usually about 25 to 30 mil. Graham uses a silage additive which is Silo 4x4. It's one that he's tried and trusted, and he makes an excellent clamp. So Graham's plans for the future here are to take them up a step. He's always assessing what the cow's potential is, and if they've reached that potential and they've got to a certain age, he'll bring his heifers through to replace and make sure that he's gradually growing.